Hello, everyone. I cannot tell you how happy I am to be home. I was caught up in that FAA airport mess this morning in Atlanta, and I have to tell you, I had the most peace. I didn't have a care. I was so grateful. I had one last United free pass. I don't have the miles that I used to or the status that I used to carry back in the corporate executive days, but I'm still a premier person, so I get occasional free passes, and it was my last one. And I was so grateful because at least I got to, chill out in a kind of a private area with a nice bathroom, free food that I did not have. We'll talk about that later. And it was amazing to just see how peaceful I was. Like, okay, Lord, you get me home when you want to get me home. But first, let's talk about discipline. The word I loved to hate my entire life until recently. And I used to think of discipline as like punishment. Oh, discipline that child, or you need discipline for diet and exercise, or for studying. And I just looked at discipline as something hard and something that I did not like because it was hard. My attitude has changed a lot when it has come to the word discipline. I kind of associate it with obedience, but I want to actually read the definition so we can all kind of clear our minds of all these bad ways that we have thought of the word discipline. So there's three. One, training expected to produce a specific character or pattern of behavior, especially training that produces, I'm looking at the wrong thing, moral or mental improvement. I'm going to come back to that one. The other ones are really short. Control obtained by enforcing compliance or order. Controlled behavior resulting from disciplinary training. Self-control. That's the spirit of God. The spirit of temperance means you've got God in you. You have self-control. Let me read these again. They're really, really cool. Training expected to produce a specific character or pattern of behavior, especially training that produces moral or mental improvement. Control obtained by enforcing compliance or order, and that makes sense, right? You want to be compliant. We want to be, abiding by God's commandments and his rules, and that makes sense. God has everything in order. He has a very ordered creation, not disordered like this world does to so many things in our lives and makes us think it's okay. How many disordered relationships do we have with things and people, stuff? Controlled behavior resulting from disciplinary training, self-control. Okay. Since my Advent walk with the 3 bodily mortifications and really just paying more attention to my body and also taking my own body into my own hands. In other words, looking up stuff beyond what medical doctors say and really trying to understand myself, the body that I have. What does it do? How does it work? So when I look at my mind, body, soul, the 3 things that we should always be working toward, when we're looking mind, body, soul, we can focus on those particular areas. And for me, I'm learning. So my mind is really absorbing all of these new things that I'm learning about my body, that I'm putting my body through, including exercise, intermittent fasting, prolonged fasting. You could look at my 5 days, 9 hours video that I share how I just drank water with a little salt and potassium on occasion with some vitamin D and vitamin C, and how amazing I felt. And now I'm learning more and more about how the body can burn the fat that's on my body, not because I want to lose weight, but because I know that my fat cells are inflamed. It's all like connected, and all of the pain in my hips and in my knees, and sometimes I would have it in my neck and shoulders. Surprisingly enough, I don't have that, and that isn't because of what I've been doing recently. I don't know where all that kind of stuff went. I used to have numbness in my fingers, like really bad, sometimes like glitches in my knuckles. I'm a knuckle cracker, but I've never had problems cracking my knuckles. But this is, it almost comes from the skeletal nerve muscle. And so I realized that, wait a minute, I've let my body atrophy. And so when I look at this word discipline, I think about the people that I used to admire. Could even have been envious and jealousy, possibly, if I'm honest. But people that I would be like, wow, look at that person. They can work out every day, or look at that person. They can go into a bar and have one drink. Look at that person stay away from dessert out at this restaurant that's known for its whatever dessert. This restraint, this discipline, that when you look at those definitions that I am not going to read again because I just closed my laptop and I don't have time to edit this. Otherwise, I'd put the definitions in here. Go look them up. Go online. Just say discipline definition and think about it and let it just kind of sit with you, and know that discipline and obedience and self-control is very Christian. It's very much what we're supposed to do all of the time, but we don't. I have been paying attention to my body and truly knowing that, wait a minute, when hunger comes, it's like a wave and it goes just as fast as it comes for me sometimes. But if I'm super hungry, then yeah, I'm just going to eat. But I'm really trying to take advantage of what intermittent fasting is. So what is that? You shorten the time that you eat during the day. So instead of having a breakfast at 7 and a lunch at noon and like maybe dinner at 6, you push your breakfast closer to lunch and maybe even don't have breakfast, and or move your lunch even later in the day, and then have like something at 3 o'clock and then maybe at 6 o'clock and then be done, and then don't eat until that time the next day. So your body actually goes into that autophagy that I had mentioned, which means eat itself. It's basically eating the dead cells, the dead proteins. It's eating viruses and it's eating cancer while you're not feeding it any food. So I'm going through the intermittent fasting on a regular basis, and this was my challenge this morning. So again, I told you I was caught in the Atlanta airport, and I'm in the United Club. Thank you, Lord. And I was so grateful because that's where I stayed while I was delayed, and it was comfortable. But there was so many things that I didn't want to enjoy, which I usually take advantage of. I'd be drinking Prosecco, maybe with, some orange juice, make a little mimosa. I might have had I don't know, one of those little egg sandwiches with cheese. They had a whole spread of muffins and bagels and a cappuccino machine. I mean, I would have taken advantage of a lot of that because it's free. And today, I didn't want to, because my deal was, since I was at the Legatus event last night, which was in North Atlanta chapter, they rock. I had so much fun. Bring me back if anyone's watching this. Oh my gosh. Legatus International is a wonderful organization for executives in the Catholic world that want to live their faith both personally and professionally. It's so cool. You get together once a month with all of these different people that are like-minded and faith-filled folks, and you pray the rosary, then you have mass, then you have confession, then you have cocktails, then you have dinner, then you have someone speaks, and that was me. And it was so great. I had a blast with them. I am so grateful. Thank you all. Bring me back. I can't wait to see you all again. Okay, but this morning, so I got there super early based on their recommendation, and of course, everything got delayed, and I could have been a rip-roaring lunatic as well. So let's also go there because normally I wouldn't be taken too kind to me being delayed. I mean, I didn't have a very good patience level back in the day before God, but I had total peace. Lord, whatever your will be, I'm cool with it. If I have to stay overnight, it's all good. I'm fine. I had no concerns, no anxiety, no anger, no frustration, nothing. It was wonderful. And then I had all these things that I had to say no to because when I was at the Legatus event speaking, I had this steak from Ruth's Chris and I had a little leftover salad. And I just felt like I ate so late because I actually had to pack it up. I didn't get to eat it before I spoke. Typically, that's what happens. But I took it home, well, to my hotel. And then I did a little bit of working out so that I didn't go to bed without kind of doing something to burn that up because I didn't want to feel bloated the next day. And I'm still eating keto. And I didn't feel bloated today. Let's get back on intermittent fasting. So that was my deal. And then I have this open area of free food, free drink at my disposal for hours upon hours upon hours while I was in there. And I only had tea. Not even lemon in the tea, just tea. And it was wonderful. And I got on the plane and I didn't have anything on the plane, tea. And now I got home, took a shower, and it's about like almost 4:15 and I haven't had anything. What just happened? The video just cut off and it also cuts off abruptly at the end. So sorry. I lost everything. We're about done, but I had to come. It's the next day. So yesterday was when this was supposed to go out. Today it's going out because I don't know what happened. So let me close out by saying that discipline, obedience is Christian. It's a Catholic thing to do. And when we actually achieve that discipline, you're going to feel freedom. You're going to feel empowerment. You are going to feel like that person that you would admire who has that discipline. It is truly amazing. And when I went through all of that, and even today, so it's another day, we went out to eat. I'm just paying attention to my body, listening to what it needs, and stopping when I'm full. It's amazing to pay attention to what you are going through. What are your emotions? What are your physical characteristics that are happening at the moment? What are your thoughts? What is your body honestly physically doing? Are you like palpitating? Are you calm? Like all of these have purpose in assessing and discerning spirits and our own actions and our own way of improving. And are we developing? Are we progressing? And I so often just denied what my body, what my mind, what my soul, which was really the spirit of the Holy Spirit, was telling me. How many times do we just diss the Holy Spirit within us and just do our own thing? So discipline is totally different for me now. It isn't a punishment. It is true freedom and empowerment. And I want you to think about it that way too. And I want you the next time that you kick temptation to the curb, the next time that you do something more virtuous rather than vicious, which is vice, honestly, think about how you feel and pay attention so that the next time you could be a slave to the sin, or you can manage the sin and make that sin be a slave to you. Thank you, God. Alrighty, everyone. I love you all. Find something more with God. His discipline, his strength, his courage. You can do this.
There's the abrupt ending. I love you.
I